bit about the application process to King's College with Concord and Victory. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Jack.
Absolutely. We'll jump straight into it, to the application part.
Mm-hmm.
What specific elements do you think contribute to a really strong application for King's College?
Okay, so for King's College, I would say one of the biggest things is that we do get a lot of applications. So across entire applications all to our courses, we have over 180 at King's. We do get nearly 100,000 applications, if around that. And we have a lot of competitive courses. So 50% of our courses go to about 14 courses that are really competitive. So to really make yourself stand out, we are first and foremost looking for students who have got a predicted grade or an achieved grade that meets that entry criteria for that course or exceeds it. And we would be looking at level 3 qualifications first and foremost. We accept international ones too. So that could be like your A levels, your IB diplomas, access courses as well. And all of our website pages will have the entry criteria. And some courses may require GCSEs or aptitude tests like UCAS and LNAT for medicine and law.
Okay. What are some of like the more popular courses that you can take, like the high demand?
Yeah, so some of the popular courses I would say are business management, computer science, and there's actually quite a few different options with computer science that we do. So it's the main computer science course that's really popular. However, if you are interested in that one, have a look at applying to some of the others too. Like we do an artificial intelligence as course as well. Then we've also got medicine and dentistry. They're really, really popular as well. I would say we've got war studies that's becoming really popular, international relations, and some of the other courses like psychology are also really popular. There's quite a good few amount that I would say are popular and competitive.
How does King's College balance academic performance with personal qualities or experiences during the admissions process?
Yeah, so really good question. So academics is what we would first and foremost look at. So again, looking at whether a student meets the entry criteria with a predicted grade or achieved grade, or if they exceed that. So that's first and foremost that we look at. And then we also do look at the references and the personal statement. So your personal statement at King's is important. And for those competitive courses, some of which that I mentioned, like business management and computer science, medicine and dentistry, those personal statements will matter. And what we're looking for, students don't need to mention to us about what they're studying in their personal statement because you've only got a few characters that you can use. But what we want to see is your passion, your motivation, any experience, whether it's work experience, paid or unpaid, or project experience. We want you to explain it and it relates back to the course. And then we would also ask for a little bit of extracurricular activities to kind of round off your personal statement.
Okay, that kind of goes into my next question a little bit, but if you could just touch on like a little bit more specific, how can applicants demonstrate their like enthusiasm in their personal statement, like, and like what other strategies can they use?
Yeah, so one thing is I would kind of break it down into different sections, and I'll go through these sections. And also, when it comes to drafting a personal statement, first and foremost, start making bullet points about things that you've achieved, that you've done at school or outside of school, and also put down things that you've achieved that relate to the course that you're applying for. So that can help you go back to those bullet points and draft your personal statement. And then, so in terms of like a a structure that you could use. So first and foremost, in the opening sentence or the opening few lines of your personal statement, we would like students to mention why are they passionate to study the course that they want to do. So for example, that could be medicine. Why are you passionate to want to study medicine? Tell us about anything that influences your decision for wanting to study medicine. Was it a book, a piece of research, an individual person or a celebrity, or a movie or a film or a documentary? What was it that was the passion behind a student wanting to study medicine, for example? And explain that to us. So that will be part of your reasoning why you want to study the course and that influence of why you want to do it. And then we go into a next stage, which is tell us about an experience. And we are not looking for just students who have got paid internships or anything like that. We're actually just looking for the way a student describes their experience. So whether a student hasn't got paid experience or does, it doesn't matter. It's just how you describe it. So I had a student that I spoke to recently, and she said that she didn't have any experience, like she didn't do any experience that could help her to do a physiotherapy course. And I said, well, what have you done at school? And she talked about a piece of research that she did. And she conducted a piece of research in her local community with older people and looking at different exercises and mobility exercises and which exercises were the best suited. So we broke it down, and this was a fantastic example that she could use in her personal statement of saying what she did, what was the research about, or what was the project about, how she took that project. So she went out and did a survey, and then talking about her evaluation. What does she evaluate from that piece of research, from that project, from that work experience? What was the insights that it gave her, and how does it relate back to the course that she wanted to apply for?
Wow,
So
that's
I hope
good.
that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's great. So what qualities do you look for in letters and recommendation, and how can applicants ensure that their references provide the most impactful insights?
So letter of recommendations, now this will come from your academic tutor, or any person from the school or college. And first and foremost, it needs to be from an academic email. So anything that says a Gmail or a Yahoo mail or anything like that, that could be from a personal email account, we wouldn't accept. And we may go back to the student and say we need something from an academic email from a school's institution or a college institution. And then usually, so with references, it kind of works a little bit differently. So we first and foremost look for that academic reference, and then we would want to just see an all-round kind of package of why the tutor recommends the student to King's, sorry, not to King's, to other universities, or for the course that they're applying for. Just a bit about their profile, what have they been up to at school. It could be a very personal kind of reference from the academic tutor of just telling us all the best bits about the student, really. What, how are they at school, how are their grades doing. Just it can be like from an academic tutor, a personal kind of touch. Yeah.
Great. Can we talk about a little bit about this new style personal statement
Mhm.
that I've heard about for, I believe it's my upcoming year is who it'll affect.
Yes.
Could you just describe kind of the key differences in this new style compared to previous formats?
Yeah, so one thing is it's UCAS's decision that they're going to break up the personal statement into three sections and three questions. And one thing I would say is don't worry too much about the new personal statement style. In actual fact, all they've done is help students kind of answer questions rather than do an essay or a piece of paragraph for a personal statement. So some of those questions are actually prompts to help you describe your personal statement. And if you still go back to the idea of we need your motivation, we need any experience that you've done, why you want to study the course, then these are some of the questions that you'll get asked, and it's still that kind of answer that we're looking for, especially at King's, but just that it's broken down into 3 sections. So with those sections, to still use that kind of structure of personal statements, but pop them into the 3 different sections.
Okay, great. How important is it for applicants to convey like an authentic voice in their personal statement? And do you have any tips for maintaining authenticity while also kind of like adhering to the academic expectations?
Yeah, I think authenticity really does come down to how the student talks about their passion and motivation for a course and what they have been doing in terms of any projects or work experience that aligns to that course. So for example, you're going to apply to a different course to maybe another student at Stowe School. So your motivation and your projects that you've done are unique to you and not to another student. So again, if students can go back and start thinking about some bullet points of what they've done in school or outside of school that can help them with those personal statements, then those bullet points that they're doing are unique to them, their experience is unique to them, and really emphasize and talk about that and evaluate that in your personal statement. That will make it unique and be more authentic than maybe something that's, I guess, what admissions officers won't probably want to see less of is just a very small kind of description of why they want to study a course. If you can explain a bit more in depth, evaluate about your own personal experiences, that will show the more authentic side.
Okay. And kind of on the same theme of authenticity,
Mm-hmm.
how does King's check if someone's personal statement has been written by AI?
Good. At the moment, I'm not sure in terms of how we will be checking any of that. And I don't know what could be in place for next year, so for 2026 entry. So at the moment, there's nothing to really check, except again, there is a UCAS plagiarism on UCAS's system, and that can flag to admissions officers at all universities. UCAS will say, there's a 50% plagiarism here, or there's a 60% plagiarism here. And now at King's, that's really not what we're looking for, and students could be potentially rejected if they are flagged from UCAS as plagiarism. So we don't want students to do that. We do want you to make your personal statement unique to you. In terms of students using AI and things like ChatGPT, at the moment, there's nothing in place that I can think of that we really do to stop that. However, I think it's not worth doing. And also, we don't see that kind of personal touch in terms of that experience in your personal statement if you've just used something like AI to do that. And another thing to mention is, because we would want it to be authentic, if you are applying for courses like medicine, dentistry, these are courses that require interviews. So your personal statement may even be picked up and be read by the interviewers for those courses. So try to avoid artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and things like that. Try and make it unique to you, and reach out to your family, your friends, your tutors. get them to read over your personal statements as well and give you any tips, because then they can see, does this look authentic?
Right. And besides the obvious not using AI,
Mhm.
uh, what are some common mistakes, or besides using AI, what are some common mistakes applicants make in their personal statements?
I think over exaggerating is one. So say from, I think we have an example in our recruitment team where maybe a personal statement might say from the age of 5, I've always wanted to be, a doctor or something like that. And really and truly, most people probably haven't quite decided what they want to do till later on in life or towards their high school or their A levels. So things like anything that could be over exaggeration. Again, I'm trying to think what other things that AI might do that could put students in a tougher. I, I'm I'm not 200% what other things could be in place. Again, just try not to plagiarize. Try to keep it authentic. Don't over exaggerate in your personal statement. Keep it unique to you. Because these ways you will avoid that plagiarism side or that flag coming from UCAS.
Got it. And then after the student has kind of gone through a whole process, how do you recommend them kind of ensuring that their personal statements are polished and compelling?
Well, I think, using things like spell checker is something that I would recommend students do. Make sure that your personal statement is easily read. Make sure that there's no spelling or punctuation mistakes. Again, go speak to your academic teachers, speak to your parents, get them to have a read over through your personal statement, because maybe they can see places where it could be improved that requires a second eye to read over a personal statement. I think if you can try and follow these steps, then you're in a better position to have that more polished personal statement to apply for King's.
Great. And then kind of to kind of conclude here, unless you have more you'd like to add, what are the three main points of advice you'd like to give to prospective students to Kings?
I think first and foremost, really think about what courses you want to study. Because UCAS only allows you to have 5 choices and one personal statement that you can upload. So sometimes there's students who want to study or they're very good at different subjects. So first and foremost, have a think about what you want to study. Is it, if you're good at English or you're good at art, which one are you thinking of in terms of wanting to do as an undergraduate degree or wanting to do as your career? Have a look on our course website pages, check the entry criteria, check what modules are listed under the courses, because let's say an English course at King's could be slightly different to an English course at another university. So have a look to see if the modules are subjects that you want to study at a university. Is this the right university for you? Have a look at the location of a university, check the fees as well, check if there's any scholarships available. And I would say what else could you do to prepare? Have a look at maybe what the courses are about. So sometimes students aren't quite sure whether or not they want to do medicine or biomedicine. Have a little read about the two subjects and then decide which one is right for you. In actual fact, though, medicine students can choose the fifth option to be biomedicine or pharmacy or something. But really think about what courses are best suited for you, what universities are best suited for you. Think about how you're going to use your 5 choices on UCAS.
Great. thank you so much. It was really nice of you to spend your time talking today. Super informational for me because I'm actually pretty interested in King's College. So this is really, really great to have this. But I also know there's so many other kids my year who are thinking about it, and it's gonna be really useful for a lot of people. So thank you.
Sounds fantastic. Yeah, looking forward to your application, Jack.